Later tonight, SLT teachers caught in prostitution scandal. But first, our top story. Is media biased? I'm Jackson Kushner.
And I'm Mike Barr.
To millions of viewers worldwide, media is the ultimate provider of world news. The nightly broadcast provides many their only source of information. From elections to wars, popular erotica novels to cat fashion shows. But look how biased media can be.
The American dream is not owning your own home.
Too many shops, too many jobs, too many people putting money in the bank. My experience in the private sector took me, one, to be head of a consulting firm that got in trouble.
America's role as leader in the world is a thing of the past.
Why don't you like Obamacare? What is it that's wrong with it?
The government should guide our healthcare system, tell us what kind of healthcare insurance we can have, tell us what kind of treatment we can have.
Say no to fracking and no to drilling offshore and no to drilling in Alaska. You need to have some taxes to spread the wealth around.
For the student in school that works hard to get on the honor roll, that's not really them, that's their teacher that did that and the government that paid for it. Obamacare is constitutional.
This president has done an extraordinary thing. He's your guy. If you're looking for more freedom, more opportunity, good jobs, rising incomes, a bright future for your kids,
They better vote for the other guy.
If we keep talking about the economy, we're going to lose. Senator McCain's campaign actually said, and I quote, "If we keep talking about the economy, we're going to lose."
See that? The liberal media isn't even reporting on that. They're controlling the media and what people think.
What are you talking about? Take a look at what Romney said last week. Now that's a textbook example of neoconservative bias. Fox News isn't even reporting on that.
He was just talking about the facts. There's no way that that can possibly be biased. They're reporting both sides of the issue. Obama added trillions and trillions of dollars to that. How do you explain that?
All right, let's take a look at the economy he was handed. George Bush, that ring any bells?
No, stop. George Bush was a great president, okay?
All right, you're ignorant.
You know what? I'm out of here.
And I'm a liberal.
Whoa. Hold on a second. Even when they're looking at a case study of media bias, these newscasters continue to expose their own biases. They didn't even discuss any specific examples of broadcasting networks skewing information. Here's a prime example. Fox News taking something completely out of context.
Now, the president did have a rare moment of honesty during his speech, and I hope voters around the country are watching this.
Taxes are scheduled to go up substantially next year for everybody.
All right, that's right. I know the Anointed One will make sure that that happens.
Now, here's the unabridged clip.
Under the tax plan passed by the last administration, taxes are scheduled to go up substantially next year for everybody.
How can you twist Obama's words so blatantly? In taking the speech out of context, you as the viewer are made ignorant.
Good example, but it comes from both sides. Take a look at this clip from MSNBC.
And maybe this was Mitt Romney's supermarket scanner moment, but I get the feeling, take a look at this, that Mitt Romney has not been in too many Wawas along the roadside in Pennsylvania.
By the way, where do you get your hoagies here? Do you get them at Wawa's? Is that what you get them? Well, I went to a place today called Wawa's. You ever been to Wawa's? Anybody been there? Some people don't like, I'm sorry, I know it's a very big state divided, but we went to Wawa's. I was at Wawa's. I wanted to order a sandwich. You press a little touch-tone keypad, all right? You just touch that, and you know, the sandwich comes out, you touch this, go pay the cashier, there's your sandwich. It's amazing.
It's amazing. You know, when
Place today called Wawa's. You ever been to Wawa's? Anybody been there? Some people don't like, I'm sorry, I know it's a very big state divided, but we went to Wawa's, and it was instructive to me because I saw the difference between the private sector and the governmental sector. Look. And this optometrist wanted to change his billing address. He moved his office from one side of town to the other. Same zip code, same post office. But he wanted to change his address. He got a form from the federal government. This is so he can get reimbursement for the federal government for the services he provides for the poor and seniors. The form he gets to change addresses is 33 pages long. 33 pages, during which time he's not getting the checks for the work he's doing for people who need his care. That's how government works. Then I was at Wawa's. I wanted to order a sandwich. You press a little touch-tone keypad, all right? You just touch that, and you know, the sandwich comes out. You touch this, touch this, touch this. Go pay the cashier. There's your sandwich. It's amazing.
Wow. How can these networks twist the meaning so blatantly? These unedited clips prove that, when presented without full context, we cannot understand issues objectively enough to even draw our own individual conclusions.
So, if context is so integral to understanding any situation, without it, it's impossible to be unbiased. These networks are so focused on their own agendas that the real issues aren't even being addressed. Absolute and complete bullets.
So, if full context is needed to be unbiased, why don't networks just give all the facts in their news stories? Why isn't there an objective media source? It seems easy enough to present the story with some context.
Good idea. If the news can give every bit of information, they can present completely unbiased stories and educate the public about what's going on in the world.
Gentlemen, a noble idea indeed. But unfortunately, this idea is impossible in the current system we have in place. You see, people respond to incentives. Whether it is an economic incentive, like getting paid to work at camp in the summer, or social incentive, like wearing nice clothes to a party for fear of being made fun of, or even a moral incentive, like not cheating on a test because you think it is wrong. Oftentimes, our decisions are decided by determining which incentives outweigh the others. When people give to charity, for instance, their moral incentives for the cause of the charity outweigh their economic incentives for their money. When you go to a friend's house and don't steal everything they own, it is because you weigh the social incentive of friendship and the moral incentive that stealing is wrong over the economic value of their TV. Or maybe you decided you hate your friend and don't care about morals, and now you have a new TV. Either way, every decision we make comes down to incentives. The people who work in news and media are no different. They are human beings who respond to incentives. Media outlets are just like any corporation. They expect profit. They have no incentive to objectively report the news, but rather they have an incentive to produce a show that will get higher ratings, which means more ad revenue, which means more profit. Corporations don't care about objective news. They care if the show was watched by more people than 2.5 Men reruns on TBS. If a news program with copious bias and constant inflammatory remarks gets higher ratings than an objective, fact-based program, the show with higher ratings will be aired every time. If programs that are more extreme get higher ratings, that means TV personalities looking to advance their careers must be more opinionated to separate themselves from the crowd. In the system we're in, news reports and media are just another piece of the puzzle. Profit is the ultimate goal. This is true whether you watch TV, browse the internet, or read the newspaper, if anyone reads the newspaper anymore. That means that the question isn't, is the media biased? But rather, how on earth could the media not be biased? This raises yet another critical question. If the society we're in today doesn't incentivize corporations to give unbiased media, how can we get access to objective news coverage without turning capitalism on its head?
The answer to that question is simple, yet difficult. As my friend in the leather armchair stated, media is incentivized to earn profit. That means to obtain objective sources in the news, we must, as a society, desire objective news sources. TV stations, newspapers, and websites all abide by the law of supply and demand. If there is a big enough demand for objective news, the media will supply it. Now, of course, no TV show can ever put information in the complete context it deserves, nor can any person truly be without bias, as we all have our own personal experiences that shape how we feel. But that doesn't mean we can't present them as best we can. The reason then that we don't have objective news is because we as a society don't have large enough demand. The media presents news that will bring the largest audience possible. Therefore, what we see on TV is not a projection of media bias, nor private agendas, but rather, what we see on TV is a projection of ourselves, a projection of society. There is bias in media because we want bias in media. We want the facts to be told to us in a certain way. We want to be told how to feel. This is not opinion, but rather the conclusion that can be drawn from simple supply and demand. Until we have large enough demand to receive unbiased news and think for ourselves to form our own opinions, the beautiful nature of capitalism will continue to give us what we ask for. Opinions on facts rather than facts themselves. For anything to change, it must be demanded by society as a whole.